Hey guys, and welcome to episode number 10. And so instead of adding the aiming downside function, just like I mentioned in the last episode, I will actually use episodes 10 to fix a few bugs that I have seen and I want to have them fixed before we actually continue to add new features to our project, okay? So let me quickly show you a few things that I've seen that we need to fix. So in the last episode, we added the running function, and all of that is working. However, there's one problem that we currently have, and that is when I just stand still and do literally nothing and just hold down the shift button, you will see that I have to wait a moment because for some reason I get these crazy FPS drops. Okay, so now I can show you what I mean. So if I hold down shift, you see we are playing the running animation even though we're not moving at all. And of course that's something we have to fix. And then I saw also another problem, and that is whenever I shoot the magazine empty, like so, and then press R to reload and try to shoot again, you see it still works. And obviously that's also not something we want, so we need to fix that as well. And then the last thing that I've seen is that we also play the walk sounds even though we are jumping. So whenever we are jumping, we're in the air. But as you can hear, maybe we're still playing the footstep sounds. Okay, and obviously that's also something we need to fix. All right, so let's start first off with the running animation. So inside our player movement script, we said in the last episode, hey, whenever we run, which is basically holding down the left shift button, we set the boolean to true. And if that's the case, we also multiply the speed value depending on if we are running or not. However, right now we're just saying shoot script anim set bool is running, set to is running, and so this will be then determined whenever we are pressing this button or not, which is obviously something we don't want. So let's copy that, cut that out, and instead we need to remove that somewhere else. Okay, and down here inside our move function, we already have like here this if statement where we say, hey, if the player velocity x, y, or z is greater or smaller than 0, basically if we are moving, do something. And all we need to do actually to fix this is to move the anim set bool to this if statement. So with that we make sure, hey, we only play this animation whenever we are moving. And so back to Unity, and hopefully I get no lags again whatsoever. Literally no idea where this is coming from. I first thought that it's because of overheating problems, but as you can see, it's not that hot. Okay, my CPU is not that hot, so shouldn't be like a problem. Okay, so now I am play mode, and I will try to hold down just shift to see if we can still play the animation. Nope, it's not working anymore. But when I move and hold down shift, you see it still works. Okay, and it also stops playing whenever we stop holding down shift. So we'll try to see one more time, hopefully this time without any lags. So move, run, and it stops. And it only plays when I hold down shift and move. Okay, so we have fixed that. The next thing we need to do is to take care of the shooting mechanic, because just like I showed you, we can still shoot even though we are reloading. So we need to add a function or a logic that checks if we are playing a specific animation. So here at the top, I would just copy the shooting boolean that we have and rename this one to is reloading. And then let's also refactor quickly the logic here from the shooting function. So here we're saying, hey, if the input get mouse button is down and we also not shoot, do all of that. So I will remove this from here, and instead I will add that here inside the update function where we already check if the magazine is greater than 0, which means we still have ammo left. shoot. Okay, here we will add an and, and then we will say if shooting is set to false, like so, and if is reloading set to false, we want to be able to shoot. So we need to define now the logic for is reloading, right? Because whenever we press R, we basically reload the magazine, but we only can do this right now if the magazine is empty. So we can change this later on. What I would do actually right now is I would simply say here anim get current animator state info, and then we take the layer index 0, which is just our standard layer that we have currently, and I would say is name, and then reload out of ammo. And in order to make this to be able to use that, we need to rename that inside the animator. Okay, so I already did that. All I did was to head over to the animator, and then I renamed the animation to reload no ammo, like so. Okay, I've also added a tag, but you don't really need to do that, just in case you're wondering. So I called the animation reload no ammo, because it's much more easier to retype that or to remember that instead of run and also the underscore rifle underscore 01 and so on. So we just paste it actually in here, the right name. So it's reload no ammo. And we can make here actually a new statement. Say, hey, if this is playing, so this will basically check if we're playing this specific animation, and we'll return true or false. So here we can then say, hey, is reloading is set to true. And this will already work, right? So if I go back here to our Unity editor and hit play, and make sure to click on the player to see the inspector. So the is reloading bool should be set to true whenever we reload now. So we'll empty the mag that we have, and once we reach 0 and I press R, should actually get here a true, but we don't. So let me move that actually to the update function. I think that's the issue. And then we'll also minimize the player movement script, because we don't really need to see all of these values. So it's much more easier to see what's going on inside the shooting script. Alright. So again, I will empty the mag, and once I press reload, we should get a true is reloading bool. Again, I have to wait because I have these FPS issues. So I press now R, and you see the is reloading bool is now set to true, and it stays at true because we have added no logic to set back to false. And at the same time, if I try to shoot now, you see it doesn't work. That's because we added the logic to our shoot script, and we said, hey, if shooting is set to false or is reloading set to false, and the magazine has some bullets in it, we are able to shoot. Otherwise, we are not able to run this function. So all we need to do to reset that logic is to add an else statement and say, hey, if none of the animation that we currently play is called reload no ammo, set is reloading to false. And so with that, we should now be able to reload the weapon, and at the same time we should be only able to shoot again once the animation is finished playing, which is exactly what we tried to achieve. So again, FPS drops, I have to wait. Totally sorry for that. I know it's super annoying. It's also super annoying for me. I really need to figure out where this is actually coming from. So again, I shoot now. For some reason it's set to is reloading is set to true. Why is that so? Is reloading. weird. Let's see. Why is reloading set to true? Doesn't make any sense. Yeah, for some reason Unity setting is reloading to true. Did I somewhere say that should be true? So here say it should be false. Down here I also say, hey, if we're playing this animation, is reloading set to true? And if not, we say, let me just retype that here just in case Unity hasn't compiled that. So again, is reloading set to false. And then literally nowhere else do we say set is reloading to true. So again, I assume it has something to do that Unity has not compiled the changes I made. Okay, now it works. Is reloading is set to false, which is exactly what we want. I need to wait until my FPS go back up. Alright, so we're empty now the Mac. And then I will press R and try to shoot again, and you see it no longer works. But once the animation is finished playing, I can shoot again. And everything is basically working, okay? Again, we're empty. I hold down still the right mouse button, but I cannot shoot. But once the animation is finished playing, I can shoot again. Alright, so we have fixed that as well. The last thing that we need to take care of is the footstep sounds. So back to our player movement script. Where do I edit the play sounds? Okay, here I literally say, hey, play footstep sound and do all of that. But we also have already an is jumping boolean. So all we need to do to fix that is, where do I call the play footstep sound? Alright, so here we say, hey, if is not walking, play footstep sounds. And then we also need to say, if we are not is jumping. Because if we are jumping, we shouldn't be able to play the footstep sounds. And I think this should also fix the issue. So I walk now and jump, and you see it stopped playing the sound. That's because we have jumped. So yeah, I guess there was a quick fix, right? Again, these bugs oftentimes occur because when you add a lot of stuff to your code base, yeah, you oftentimes forget to add these small if statements, but they make actually a big difference, right? Because right now we have now a much more realistic sound behavior. We only play these sounds when we move along, but whenever I jump, we stop playing these. So exactly what we want. Okay, so I will wrap up here this episode. Like I said, I wanted to fix first of these issues that we had before I actually continue to add new features to the project, simply because, you know, these bugs add up after episode or each episode, and then at one point, like, it's a lot of work to actually find out what's going on or where is it coming from and so on. So it's always a good idea to start fixing bugs whenever you witness them, especially in early development. Okay, so we have done all of that. So the next episode will be done finally about the aiming downside function, so that we can aim downside and then shoot also the weapon and things like that. So we will take care of that in the next episode. And yeah, as always, thanks for watching and see you next time.